You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Now we answer questions we've received from you. If you have a question, visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. Dr. Shabir, the question is, when will the victory of Allah come? So I understand that the person who is asking this question is looking at situations around the world, seeing what's going on with Palestinians and, just Muslims in general who seem to be, at the bottom of the totem pole and wondering, God in the Quran, in 2 verses in particular, has mentioned that a victory will come to pass for the believers. So where is that victory that God has promised?
Yeah. So it's interesting, just to give credence to the questioner. I mean, yes, there are verses like that. Surah 24, verse number 55 says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. God has promised the believers that God will establish them on the earth. And Surah 40, verse number 51 says, likewise, إِنَّا لَنَنْصُرَ رُسُلَنَا وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. We will certainly help the Prophet and the believers. So, and of course, all of the establishment in the land and so on, all of that goes with that promise. But on the other hand, we have statements in the Quran that we have to balance with this. The help from God does not come right away. Sometimes it's after a long struggle. For example, in the 2nd chapter of the Quran, God asks, "Am hasibtum an tadkhulul jannah wa lamma ya'tikum mathalul ladina khalaw min qablikum?" Do you think that you're going to enter paradise, whereas that which came to the people before you has not reached you yet? Masathumul ba'sa wa darra wa zulzilu. They were touched by calamities and disasters, and the earth was shaken for them. حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا متى نصر الله. To the extent that the messenger and those who believed with them, with the messenger, were saying, when will the help of Allah come? It's exactly the same question.
Mm-hmm.
So then the Quran answers that by saying, "Allah inna nasrallahi qareeb." Isn't it true that the help of God is near? Mm-hmm. So the answer from God in the Quran is that, yes, I know that you're going to ask this question. I'm going to test you until that time comes. You're going to ask this question. But when you find yourself asking that question, know that God's help is near. So it seems hard to imagine, like, how is God going to help us in this situation? But there are many different ways in which God can and will help us. And we will see the fruits of that, inshallah, very, very soon. So we should keep repeating those words. Allah inna nasrallahi qareeb.
And the verse, Dr. Shabir, also has some stipulations. It's not like, I believe it says, believe and worship and some other things. So it's not like God is just going to automatically make you successful. But there's certain things that we also need to do ourselves.
Yes. A lot of things that are mentioned in the Quran is, has to be balanced with other things that are mentioned in the Quran. It's almost like you go to your doctor and the doctor says, okay, use this medication and you will get better. So you go, okay, I'll go use this medication, I'll get better. But in the meantime, you're taking something that is contrary to that medication. Let's say somebody's drinking alcohol, for example. That and the alcohol is working against the medication. Well, don't come back to the doctor and say, well, doc, you said I'm going to use this and get better. And the doctor is going to want to find out, well, wait a minute, did you take the antidote to this? Were you drinking alcohol, for example? So in the Quran, some things have to be balanced in a similar way. God is promising you, if you do all of these good things, you get all these good results. But at the same time, if you do all these bad things, you get all of these bad results. So if you're doing the bad things and getting bad results, like, don't come back to God and say, well, wait a minute, God, didn't you say we're going to get the good results? Because God also told you you're going to get bad results from the bad things that you do. So Muslims have to ask themselves very, pointedly, are we really doing what God has prescribed for us in the Quran? And we need to ask ourselves, it's one thing to blame the others who attack us, who decimate our populations, who kill our children and so on, like, why you're doing all this. But we have to ask ourselves as well, why do we disobey God? Why do we, as the Quran praises us as the best of the ummah, khairul ummah, we are the best nation that has been raised up for humankind. Are we really serving humankind? Are we really the best in what God has prescribed for us? Are we obedient to God? Are we serving humankind? Are we taking care of the world? Are we doing what is right? Do we have justice in our societies? It is a shame that we hear, on the one hand, children are dying in Palestine, and on the other hand, in another part of the world, somewhere in the Middle East, people are celebrating and having fun in a Shakira concert. It's quite a contradiction. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that people cannot enjoy themselves, but when and where and how, all of this is what is prescribed for us in our religion. So we have to ask ourselves, as a global ummah, as a worldwide community, have we done that which will bring about the mercy of God and His help for us? Or are we doing that which actually could bring about the punishment of God for us? And why on us? Because we are the first people to be held more responsible, because we have the guidance from God. And if we do not follow that guidance before God punishes somebody else, then we ourselves will be afflicted in order to bring us back to our senses. So a lot of what is happening to the Muslims around the world is a wake-up call for us. And we're just like, we're still asleep. We're still asleep despite what is happening. It's time for us to wake up, smell the coffee, do what is right, and please God, so that God's promises for us will come to pass.
Thank you for that, Dr. Shabir. Beautifully said.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. We have some exciting news to share with you.
As you know, Let the Quran Speak has been on TV screens and social media for 22 years.
We've been reaching people all around the world, spreading positivity and good, and helping people experience the beauty of Islam and the accomplishments of Muslims.
We've been shooting in this very space for the past 2 decades.
And now, with the help of Allah, we're about to get the keys to Muslim Media Hub.
If you like what we're doing, you're gonna love Muslim Media Hub even more.
Because it's the next step up.
Think new TV shows, podcasts, social media content, and film.
We'll have new talent, more youth, and a lot more space and resources to do what we love. Spread the message of Allah.
Our Muslim Media Hub costs $2.4 million.
And for that, we need to raise $300,000. Please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help establish Muslim Media Hub so we can do this.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be of benefit to the Muslim community long after we are gone.
Thank you, and may Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always.
Assalamu alaikum.